I have an extremely embarrassing story that I feel like I need to share, and it's about praying and getting answers to prayers. So, a lot of times when I pray, I will go in a quiet place where nobody's around, and I will kneel down or whatever I can do, and I will say a prayer out loud. And so then the thought is, after you pray, how do you feel? Do you feel good? Do you feel bad? Like if you're asking for something, do you feel bad? It doesn't feel right. There's so many things about prayer. Well, when I was 19 and I didn't really understand how to get answers to my prayers, it was the start of my sophomore year at university, and I was down at university, and my parents had just moved like the month before, about 45 minutes away. They used to live in another state, and now they were like 45 minutes away from me. And I believe they had helped me move in to my apartment, but I hadn't really seen them since because I was busy with starting school, and they were busy with my little brothers, and it's just, it is what it is. And I had been dating this one guy, and this is the embarrassing part, who the person is. But we had gotten to a point where he, because he was older than me, where he was like, should we move this forward or not? And so, like, to me as a 19-year-old girl, like, oh, to get married and to be swept up and to be taken care of, and I don't necessarily have to finish school. I could finish at my own time. I don't have to be going to these classes, yada, yada, yada. And that really appealed to me. And he was someone who just, flowered me with compliments, all these things. Or showered me, not flowered me, showered me with compliments. Anyways, so it was late one night, and him and I had been talking, and he, is this going to go forward? So I go, and I wasn't even in my room. I don't know why, but I go in my friend's room, remember, and I knelt down and prayed, and I'm like, should I marry this person? I feel like I should. That's what I said, because you should go with a yes or no. So I feel like I should marry this person. And I ended my prayer, and I sat there for a little bit because, and I felt great. I was like, okay, I should. So I jump up and I call him back, and I'm like, yes, let's go forward, let's, continue dating, yada, yada, yada. So it was after 1 a.m. I mean, remember, I'm in college, you're up late. And there's a knock on our door, and we open the door, and it's my parents. And I don't think you understand how out of character this is. I mean, my parents go to bed early, they wake up early. I'm a lot like them, but so they show up, and my dad says, get in the car, we're taking you home. I even think I might have been on the phone with this guy. So I hang up and I just go. I mean, my dad's like, if you know my dad, he's very serious. And when he's very serious, you do what he says. So we drive home about he probably did like a half hour or less, because it's the middle of the night. We get home, we go into the family room, we sit down, and they go, they tell me, my stepmama had a dream that I was falling off a cliff, and she couldn't save me. She was trying to save me. And this dream scared her so bad that in the middle of the night, they drove down and got me, and they said, what is going on? Why, she said, why did I have this dream? And I said, well, yeah, that guy I was dating this summer. Well, So I prayed about whether or not I should marry him, and I feel like I should. And my dad is like, absolutely not. I mean, there's so many red flags, not like minor red flags, not like we don't like him, like major red flags. Like, I'm not even going to tell you because it's so embarrassing now. Like, I'm just like, oh my gosh. And because it was so out of character for my parents to do that, to show up at my door right when I got done praying, right when I was calling him back, like that, obviously that was that was the answer. And so I did what my parents said. I broke up with them instantly. And a lot of people, why'd you do that? I'm like, because my parents would never do that. But my point is sometimes I think we want something so badly that when we pray for it, we can't clear our mind. Are we objectively studying something? And this is hard for me because I'm pretty impulsive or extremely impulsive. And so it's hard for me to step back and say, Patty, do you really need this? Or is this something you want to do? And for years and years, and even now, I don't trust myself when I pray for an answer. I necessarily don't trust what I feel right in that moment of praying because of that experience. Now, have I had an experience like that since? Not really, no. Nothing that sticks in my mind. Have I made wrong decisions and prayed about it and still made wrong decisions? Yeah, I have. But this was something so important. I mean, yeah, it was so, so important that God's like, I'm sure he is so frustrated with me. Like, I give you an answer and you don't follow it, or I just, like I say, one of my weaknesses is that I have a hard time doing the Lord's will, that I always want to do mine. I always want to do it my way. But just like it says in the scriptures, the Lord's ways are not, or man's ways are not God's ways. And so I've had to realize that when I pray and ask for something, I may pray and think about it, and then I'll open my scriptures and start to read. Or I'll just wait on it a little bit longer, or try to see, I've tried even like praying the opposite way, if that makes sense. So like, let's say I was praying, should I marry this guy? Actually saying I shouldn't marry this guy and seeing how that feels. Sometimes I find that when I go down to pray, I can't, saying it out loud, I think makes a difference, because I've knelt down to pray for things and I can't even say it out loud. So then I'm like, okay, if I can't even say it out loud, that's embarrassing. And so I probably shouldn't do it. If I'm embarrassed, to bring it to the Lord and ask for it. And so I just thought I'd share that story, because I've seen in my life people who've said, well, I've prayed about this, and everybody's going, no, that's not right. And they hear only what they want to hear. And so one of my weaknesses is my greatest strengths, because my weakness is trusting my instincts. And that's become a strength, because it makes me really, really, really try to rely on the Lord and not be so quick to do something, or so, it drives my husband. I'm so nuts because I'm so impulsive. And sometimes it's stupid, and sometimes it gets us into trouble, and sometimes it's not. And so I hope this helps somebody. It's so embarrassing, but I just felt like I needed to share it. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful week. Thanks.